Hey guys, so first thing today, I want to make sure you know tomorrow, 8 a.m. we're doing a live Zoom class. It'll be our second one, and I'd like to do a little bit more than we did last week. Last week was just kind of a checkup, but I'll have some sentences for us to do together, and so looking forward to that. Again, 8 a.m. The link will be in RenWeb for the lesson plan for Friday. And today, I just want to keep building on what we've been doing with Latin adjectives. So I want to review a few things with you, and then take you through a few phrases, and that's what you'll be doing for homework. So I'll show you that. So first thing is just in case you're still struggling with them. Here are the first and second declension noun endings, and you have a link to this worksheet on RenWeb. I'll add the third declension endings. I'm just realizing that I forgot those. I'll add those right after I'm done with this lecture, and they'll be up. So go ahead and review those. Again, you should have them memorized by now. We've had them all year, but if you don't, these are what we're looking at. And then also just kind of basic translations of the different cases. And you'll need this for the homework tonight because I'm having you translate phrases. So remember, nominative, subject usually, and we don't have any special translation, so it's just whatever the noun is. If you have the noun rex, nominative, just king, because when we have a subject in English, we don't use a separate preposition. Genitive, most basic uses for possession, and we use the English preposition of. So if you have a noun in the genitive, like regis, you'd say of the king. Dative, indirect object, is kind of our basic use, and the prepositions we can use are to and for, to or for. So if we had regi in the dative singular, to or for the king, that would work. Accusative, so that'll be direct object when we see it in a sentence, and there's no special translation. So if you had regem in a sentence as the direct object, you would just say king. And finally, ablative, which can do a lot of different things. We've seen ablative of means, ablative of manner, ablative of accompaniment, a number of uses with specific prepositions, all those things. If you have an ablative that I'm asking you to translate with or by, work fine, with or by as English prepositions. So go ahead and look back over that. Like I said, I'll add the third declension endings as well, but these are here for you. And then I want to take you through a few examples of just phrases with noun adjective pairs. And what I'm going to do is add the appropriate ending to the adjective to match the noun. So here's what I mean. First, we've got rex praeclare. Now this is the stem of the adjective praeclarus aum, which means famous. It's a first, second declension adjective, so it's going to use first, second declension endings. Now we need to add the ending. I'm going to start by IDing rex. Rex is nominative, singular, masculine, third declension. So we need, again, this is a first, second declension adjective, which means for masculine forms of the adjective, we're going to use second declension endings, these ones in the middle here. And we want nominative singular. So it's rex praeclarus. And we can translate that as the famous king. Okay, and the second part of that is what I'm asking you to do for homework. You'll just have a noun adjective pair, a phrase, and then I just want you to translate it and reflect the case and number properly in your translation. Again, more as we go on. Okay, next one, regem praeclare. So now we have regem in the accusative singular masculine, which means we need second declension accusative singular masculine. Praeclarum. We can translate this as the famous king. Now, since it's accusative, I'm going to go ahead and abbreviate direct object. And while I'm thinking of it, I'll just add subject to the first one. Because we're not using those case-specific prepositions, that just shows me that you know what does an accusative do in a sentence, because accusatives can't be subjects, strictly speaking. Okay, next one, regi praeclarus. So regi, dative singular masculine. Again, just third declension. And we need a dative singular masculine form of praeclaris. So we're going to get praeclaro, because dative singular in the second declension is long O. And since it's dative, I'm going to say to the famous king. Right? That's what I mean when I say reflect the case in your translation. It's dative, so I use the preposition to. I would also take for the famous king. That'd be fine as well. But I want us to start being able to be accurate with our translations of these cases. Okay, now we have a new noun, mulier. Also third declension, but this one's feminine. It means woman. So we've got mulier in the nominative singular feminine. We need a feminine form of the adjective, which again, praeclaris is first, second declension. So we're going to use first declension, and we want nominative singular. So mulier praeclara means the famous woman, and we'll say it's nominative, so as the subject. Quick note, you could either say the famous woman or a famous woman, doesn't matter, both are fine. So don't let that confuse you. Okay, next one, mulierem. Now we have accusative singular feminine. Okay, we're going to need the first declension accusative singular ending. Mulierem praeclaram. So we can say the famous woman again, but it's accusative, which means it'll be acting as a direct object. Okay, mulieres. So third declension, long es, that's either nominative plural or accusative plural feminine. So we've got to cover both. I'll do nominative plural first. Feminine, noun, so we need a feminine form of this adjective, which means we're using first declension endings. So we have mulieres praeclare. We would say the famous, the famous women, and it's nominative, so that would be our subject. Now, our second phrase, we'd have the same noun, right? Because this ending, es, can be nominative or accusative plural. If it were accusative plural, we'd need the first declension accusative plural ending, which is long as. And in that case, we would say the famous women, but not as the subject, since it's accusative, the famous women as the direct object. Make sense? Okay, one more noun here. So now we have nauta, which is, those first two were third declension nouns paired with the first, second declension adjective. Now we're going to have a first declension noun paired with fortis, which is a third declension adjective. And it's really important that you get that distinction between first, second declension adjectives on the one hand and third declension adjectives on the other hand, because they're using different endings. Okay, third declension adjectives use third declension endings. Okay, so nauta, if we ID'd that noun, we'd say nominative, singular, masculine. Now, in the third declension, with these third declension adjectives, fortis, that's the nominative singular form we need. So we'd say the brave sailor as the subject, because he's nominative. Okay, nauta fortis. Okay, here's a tricky one. So we have naute, ae. Let's think of what that ending in the first declension could be. Genitive singular masculine, could be dative singular masculine, could be nominative plural masculine. All are possibilities. Now we're going to need to cover all those with forms of this adjective. So let's do genitive singular masculine first. So what's the genitive singular ending in the third declension? It's is. So naute fortis, if we're taking it as a genitive singular, means of the brave sailor. Okay? And don't get tripped up that the genitive singular form of this adjective is the same as the nominative singular form. It's just the way it is. Remember, in the third declension, the nominative singular can be just about anything, and sometimes it's going to overlap with the genitive singular. You just got to know that. Okay, so that's genitive singular. Now let's say naute is dative singular. We're going to need a different form of the adjective, because They have to match in case, number, gender. So what is dative singular in the third declension? It's a long I. So naute forti, and we translate it like to or for the brave sailor. Okay? Preposition changes because now we're dative, not genitive. All right, and we've got one more possibility, so let's make sure we cover that. Naute could also be nominative plural, masculine. And again, third declension, nominative plural is long es. So naute fortes means the brave sailors as the subject. Okay, so on the homework, I give you one or two that are like this, where you're going to need more than one adjective form to get the correct answer. So make sure you just provide all possibilities, and that just starts with IDing the nouns. That's the big takeaway for all this stuff with adjectives is like find the noun that the thing pairs with, and ID the noun, and ID everything the noun can be, just like we just did with naute. Okay, and one more here. Nautarum. Okay, that's genitive, plural, masculine. So we need the genitive plural ending from the third declension, which you might remember is um. Now that would be correct, except that all third declension adjectives are third declension I stem in their forms. So our ending is actually going to be ium. And let me repeat that. All the third declension adjectives are third declension I stem. So you're going to get ium in the genitive plural there. Now, just to think about it, let's say we had we need a neuter noun. Here. So animalia, this is nominative or accusative plural neuter. Let's try to say brave animals, right? In the genitive plural, we're going to get ium, and then in the neuter, nominative, and accusative plural, we'll get ia instead of just an a. And that, again, that's just because all these third declension adjectives are I stem. So nautarum fortium means of the brave sailors. Okay, let me just show you what the homework looks like. I'm just giving you a phrase. So regine fortis. I just want you to translate it. If it could be more than one possibility, go ahead and give more than one possible answer. Now, be careful with it too, because let's think about this first one, regine fortis. If we're IDing the noun, regine could be genitive singular, dative singular, nominative plural. Now, you have an adjective paired with this noun that's going to tell you which one of those three to choose, or which one or more. So fortis, that form of the adjective, it could be genitive singular, that's for sure, because is is genitive singular in the third declension. Now, could fortis be dative singular? No, dative singular is a long I in the third declension. So even though regine could be dative singular in addition to genitive singular, fortis can't, so that's off the table. Now, nominative plural, which regine could be nominative plural, fortis cannot. It would have to be fortes with the long es in the third declension. So even though this noun, regine, could be three things, like think your way through it. Look at the adjective. The adjective can only be genitive singular. So the answer to number one can only be genitive singular feminine, and you translate it like of the brave queen. Okay? So that's pretty straightforward. Again, I'm just looking for your translation to accurately reflect case and number, especially. Now, a couple of them, or with a couple of these, I've included prepositional phrases. So if you look at the third one, cum praeclaro poeta. Now you've got your noun-adjective pair, praeclaro poeta. That's ablative, singular, masculine. Okay, we're fine there. But you have the preposition cum governing the whole phrase. That's fine. You can just take it as governing the adjective and the noun. So this one would be with a famous poet. Or next, away from an evil city. See how that goes? Okay. again, not too bad. I think you guys will be fine with it if you're careful and give yourself the time to ID these things all the way through and do a good job with it. So that's all for today. Again, tomorrow it's going to be 8 a.m. We'll do that Zoom meeting, and I'll have some sentences, like I said. And the way it'll go is, I want you to have something to write, take notes with, because I'm going to go through sentences for you or with you, and I'll ask you questions and all that. But the homework for the weekend is going to be the sentences we do together. So there's your incentive for being at the Zoom meeting, for one. Although you're getting a grade for attendance, but also for writing down our translations of these sentences, because then you can just go in and knock the homework out without having to think too hard about it, because we'll have already done it. But I'll still give you that homework for the weekend. Okay, so looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow, and we will talk to you then.